Hello, hello. Welcome to Dr. Fuller's classroom, online classroom, if you will. This video, we're going to talk about technology integration models. When we talk about technology integration, what does that mean? We know we've heard that word before. Integration is a bringing together. It's a um, it's a connection, if you will. And this specifically is talking about instruction, classroom instruction being integrated or technology being integrated into classroom, whether that be online, whether that be in person, or whether that be a hybrid model, integrating technology into um, your instruction and your teaching and learning in the classroom. So the first model that we're going to talk about is the SAMR model, right? SAMR, if you will. But the SAMR technology model has two facets to it. The first facet is enhancement, and the second facet is transformation, right? And it's basically broke down into two halves. On the first half, you have substitution, augmentation, and you have modification and redefinition, right? Substitution is when technology acts as a direct tool substitute with no functional change. A kid can read a book in a textbook. A kid can also read a book in on a laptop with a PDF or ebook. There's really no functional change in the technology, and some would even, in some instances, the technology is not as effective as the more analog or more traditional situation. I would argue that a book. I still love books. I have a whole bookshelf, book collection in my house. So maybe that's one technology that isn't actually uh, changing the instruction, but augmentation is when tech acts as a direct tool substitute with functional improvement. And this is something that you see in art or in music where you have a guitar, but when you add an amp or a wah-wah bar or electric guitar. Same thing with art. You can draw on an easel pad or a sketchbook, but when you take that same sketchbook and you use an iPad with an Apple Pencil, you're able to make enhancements to the art and to the instruction that are um, greatly enhance learning, and it improves the instructional effectiveness. Modification, this is when you go from transformation when tech allows for significant task redesign, where you're completely redesigning the classroom. And one example of that would be where you are redesigning um, where you're redesigning a classroom, where a classroom no longer, you have a flipped classroom where the students get the lecture before they get there with a YouTube or video that's pushed out over Canvas or over some kind of learning platform, and then they come into the classroom and then they do their work in the classroom, and you can do the practice and things like that, as opposed to doing the practice at home and doing the instruction in the classroom. So that's where the flipped classroom is a good example of modification and tech redesign. And redefinition is when tech allows you for the creation of new tasks previously unconceivable. For example, using a 3D printer instead of a building. So uh, new tasks such as, if you're going to build a robot, instead of uh, engineering the robot from bits and pieces, you can engineer the robot with code. That's a whole new skill set. That's a whole new task. That's a whole new previously inconceivable endeavor that's being taken on through the integration of technology. So the TPAC model is the technological, pedagogical, content knowledge, right? And this is where technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge all integrate a specific um, into a specific framework, like an interconnected, like pieces of blocks, where the technological knowledge is one piece of it. The pedagogical knowledge, and pedagogical knowledge is what we're talking about, the knowledge of teaching practice, right? And the content knowledge, and where these overlap is where the magic happens. So when the technological knowledge and the pediological knowledge happen, that's when teaching is highly effective. The technological knowledge and the content knowledge is when you're able to present information in ways that are more media friendly or multimedia, and that enhances engagement and a lot of different things you can do with an enhancement of technological and pediological knowledge. Content knowledge, when pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge, that's more of your traditional teaching um, connection where the teacher has the content knowledge, but they also have the pedagogical knowledge of they know what to teach and they know how to teach. And when all of these three come together, with the technological, pedagogical, and the content knowledge come together, that's what you want in today's teacher because kids today are so technologically savvy. But if you rely too much on the technology without the content, or too much on the pedagogy without the technology or things like that, then you lack the ability. If you don't have the pedagogical knowledge, but you have the technological knowledge, you can be doing all kind of, amazing technology, jujitsu flips with your classroom, but the kids are still not learning because you don't have the pedagogical knowledge and vice versa. So this is another model that's very important for us to learn about. And the last model is the triple E model, and it basically asks questions about what you're doing with the technology. The first one that we always focus on, at least we did when I first started teaching 20 years ago, was about engagement. How does technology enhance student engagement? Right? How does technology get the kids who don't read books? Kids today, they read everything online. They read the books online, they read their mangas online, they read their blogs and everything online. Everything that they do is online. So how do you engage them in the learning uh, with with technology? The next aspect of that is enhancing the knowledge. Does the technology tool aid the students in developing or demonstrating a more sophisticated understanding of the content? Does the technology help the students learn the material? That's the basic question, right? And when you're asking these questions as you um, go around in a circle, you see this model is circular, right? Because it they lead into each other. So the engagement leads into the enhancement, and then the enhancement leads into the extension, where you're actually connecting the content you're learning in the classroom to the students' real day, everyday life, and into their future life. The question is, does the technology create opportunities for students to learn outside of their typical school day? Does it relate to everyday life experiences? And does it build new skills that they can use in their everyday lives? And these questions go over every lesson, every unit. You want to be asking these three questions. And the reason why this model is so important for me is because it's a continual process. It's not something that you learn and that you do and that you can evaluate in one observation. This model enhances your ability to um, to learn about it enhances your ability to learn about your students, to learn about technology, and learn about the content in ways that that lead into the next step, which is actually the first step. And that's just a little bit. I don't want to take too much of your time. So I appreciate you guys watching and listening. And if you have any questions, you can email me, wcfuller@gmail.com. Peace.